Hi everyone, thanks for coming today. My name is Vanita and I work for Nottingham Trent University, and I'll be hosting today's session. Also behind the scenes with me today is Victoria and Billy, who will be managing the tech side. Today's session is called What I Wish I Knew, and we have two current students with us today to talk about things that they wish someone had told them before they started university. Just to go over some housekeeping, your microphone and your camera are automatically turned off, so please don't worry, we can't hear or see you. Do check that your device volume is turned up so that you can hear us all right. And if you have any questions throughout the session, do feel free to post those in the Q&A box anytime. You can post your questions anonymously, and the Q&A box can be found at the top right of your screen. So yeah, any questions that you post will be answered at the end of the session, and we can ask those questions to our students or to myself or to Victoria and Billy. So that's enough from me now. I'll pass it over to our two students, Megan and Charlotte, who will now introduce themselves. Megan, would you like to introduce yourself first?
Yep, so hi everyone, I'm Meg. I'm a final year student studying graphic design, and I'm originally from Hull, but I moved to Nottingham to study at uni.
Thank you. Charlotte, would you like to go next? Sorry, Charlotte, I think you're on mute. Sorry about that.
Sorry. Yeah, hi everyone, I'm Charlotte. I'm a second year student also studying education, and I originally am from just outside Nottingham, about 25 minutes away.
Perfect, thank you. So for the students watching today, we want to be able to share what our students wish they knew in the lead up to and the first weeks of university. So let's start with results day. I remember this day being quite stressful and uncertain for me. Charlotte, how did you find it? What was your experience of results day?
Yeah, so I personally found results day to be quite stressful. After spending the year retaking my A-levels, I was desperate to get into NTU on the education course. Unfortunately, I didn't meet the grade requirements that I needed to, so I enrolled at NTU on the media studies course. And when I got to NTU, I realised the course wasn't for me, although the tutors and everything were great. And then I got enrolled on the education course in the same week.
Perfect, thank you. So it sounds like you went through clearing. Can you explain how that process was for you? And do you have any advice on what you did or would do better to prepare for that process?
Yeah, I think the best tip I can give you really is just stay calm, because it is really stressful in that, but the people on the other line only want the best for you at the end of the day. So just keep calm, and I'm sure good things will come. You may not get into your first choice university, but if you end up in your second or third choice, you're still going to go to university and make great memories.
Perfect, thank you. And just to add on what Charlotte's just said, I'm someone who actually works on the clearing phone line, and I'd suggest that students have their student certificates on hand so that, you know, when the caller does ask you for your grades, you have that all ready and prepared. And just remain calm, as Charlotte just said, as it is people like me who work and want to really find you a university place. Also, during the lead up to results day, to kind of prepare alternative university courses, so start researching different university courses that you might want to consider in case you do need to go in clearing, and save those university numbers so that you can call them come clearing day as well. So a lot of you may be choosing universities, and some of you may have already sent your application. So you might be thinking about choosing accommodation at the university that you're wanting to attend. Megan, what was your experience of moving away from home and choosing accommodation at university?
So I actually missed out on the accommodation that I wanted. That was university-owned accommodation, just because on a creative course, you usually get your place a bit later, and it was just on the off chance, like on one of the open days, I walked past Goldsmiths Court, it's a privately owned accommodation opposite the Newton building, which is the main building that you'd go to when you're here. And it turned out to be the best choice for me. I was worried when I first went there that there was not going to be any first years or that we're going to miss out on freshers, but that wasn't the case at all. So it turned out that we had freshers reps come in every night, and it was just full of first years. it was also a lot cheaper for me than the university accommodation. So yeah, definitely don't rule out private accommodation. It's an option that's not really spoken about, but it is there.
That's really useful to know as well, because I think some students might feel quite stressed if they can't find that university halls place. So it's really comforting to know that private accommodation does offer you the same benefits as living in halls. Is there anything else you wish you knew about before moving out, Megan?
Yeah, so one of the main things I would say is that you might not get along with all of your flatmates, and that's okay. I think I definitely went in with the idea of like, oh yeah, I'm going to make all these great friends and we're all going to get along, but you come from different places and you're so different as people, so like expecting you to get along with everyone just isn't realistic. But the way to fix that is try to sort of be open-minded about it, and then also introduce yourself to other people in your block and like your neighbours and things, because two of my best friends turned out to be the people who lived above and below instead of the ones who were in my flat. I'd also say it's a good idea to ask your accommodation for the names, and I don't know if they'll give you contact numbers, but I managed to find all of my flatmates on Facebook, and then we made a group chat, and it just meant you get to know each other, so it's not awkward when you arrive, and then you can discuss things like how many spatulas you need to bring and like dish out the kitchen appliances and stuff like that.
That's really good advice as well. I think I did something similar before I went to university. So I think I joined just Facebook groups and just asked if anyone's in the block. And then everyone started posting the flats that they're in. So yeah, that's definitely something that people at home could be doing. Do you have any advice on students who may be feeling or are worried that they'll feel homesick, Megan?
Yeah, so one thing I would say is just try and make your room your space. So fill it with all the things that make you happy. So whether that's books or like nice throws on your bed. And also a big thing for me was I just printed out loads and loads of photos of my friends and family. And then I could fill my board with them. And then if you start to feel a bit homesick or just lonely, you can look at it and you feel like they're there. It was a big thing. It helped.
Awesome, thank you. And just keeping on that sort of idea of homesickness, how did you find your first week, Megan, at university? Did you feel homesick, or what was that experience like?
Yeah, so I was so nervous about moving to uni. Like I cried the night before because I was so worried that I just wasn't going to make any friends. But when you get there, you'll be surprised how you don't really have time to feel homesick because it's so busy and there's so much going on. And also like everyone's in the same position. So everyone wants to make friends because they're on their own. It's not cliquey like it is at college or school.
Brilliant. So moving on to Charlotte then, could you just explain to our audience what Freshers or Welcome Week is and what your experience of the week was? Is it similar to Megan, or did you have a different experience?
Yeah, so Freshers Week at NTU, they will hold that you'll get a wristband that you can buy in the Newton building when you go and take your picture. But I don't know how it works with COVID now. You might have to just buy them online and they get sent through to your door. You buy the wristband. You don't have to. You can buy each event individually if you only want to go to a few. And you go to the events in the evening, day and night, and they'll put on like club events or cinema events and stuff. There's something for everyone. You know, if you're not a big drinker, if you're not into that, there's plenty of other stuff you can do, and vice versa. And Freshers Week is just an amazing way to meet people. I would really just give the advice to just fully embrace it when you get to university. Try and go to as many events as possible, including the Freshers Fair, where you'll meet all your society reps and stuff, and just embrace it. My first week of Freshers in particular was just amazing. I met so many new friends, so many new memories. Some of the best experiences I've had at uni so far was made in that week.
Awesome. So it sounds like you had a really good time during Welcome Week, and there are lots of opportunities for students to get involved in so that they're not feeling homesick. And, you know, as you said, like there's so many opportunities to meet new people. Megan, do you have any tips on what students should do to make the most of Welcome Week?
Yeah, so same kind of similar thing to what Charlotte said, is just try and involve yourself in as many things as possible, because like I said before, it distracts you from the loneliness but also helps you make new friends. But then again, don't overdo it. Like, don't feel pressured to go out and socialize, because you don't have to, and sometimes you just need to rest and take time for yourself, and that's okay. Like, some people just do 7 days a week straight, and then by the time they start uni, they're just exhausted and they can't actually do their uni work, so it's just not worth it. Also, I think a big misconception about uni is that it's all about drinking and partying, and like, yeah, that's a really great side of it, but you'll be surprised how many people don't want to drink and don't want to party, and people are okay with that. Like, don't feel pressured at all, and if people are pressuring you, you're probably in the wrong friends group, and it's maybe time to like find some new ones. But yeah, some of the best freshers events are the sober ones, that you get to go ape and you get to go mini golfing, and I find those so much more fun.
Thank you. So aside from the Welcome Week then, let's jump towards sort of the academic side. How did you find the jump between A-levels or BTEC, whichever qualification you did at college, or sixth form? And sorry, how did you find that jump between that qualification and university work? Let's go to you, Charlotte.
So for me personally, I would say actually that the jump wasn't too bad. I don't know whether that's because of the course I'm doing. It's not very like, I don't find it particularly difficult, and it isn't exam based, so it's all coursework, and I get a lot of support from my tutors on it, so the jump hasn't been that bad. Although I do know people on other courses where they found the jump to be like significantly big and they have struggled. However, the help has always been there for them when they needed it. For me, for example, I did struggle on one module in particular in my first year, and I went to my tutor and I said, look, I'm really struggling, can you help me? And he sat me down and went through it all, and he was really helpful, and I actually came out of a first. So
awesome. So I think that there's two pieces of advice really. So for students that are considering university degrees at the moment, one thing you could be looking for is how they're going to assess you. So as Charlotte just said, she has a degree now that is all coursework based. So if you don't like exams, you can actually find a degree that's all coursework based, for example. And you know, at university, you might think, oh, you're going to be completely alone, you have to do everything yourself, but actually there is support available, and by all means definitely get in contact with your tutors, so that if you are ever struggling and you need that support, because they are there to help you. So moving on to Megan then, what about you? What was your sort of idea, or how did you experience that jump between your level 3 qualification and university work?
I think one of the biggest changes for me was the independence. So when you come to uni, no one's going to be chasing you. If you don't show up to lectures, then you're only really playing yourself, because you'll get to the end of the year, no one will have really chased you up about it, but then they'll make you resit your first year, or you'll come out with a grade that you don't want. So even though you have got the independence, that's not a reason to sort of use it to mess around for the whole year. Like, you do really need to make sure you're going.
Brilliant. And while studying at college or sixth form, you usually have quite a busy schedule. Did you expect this to be the same at university, Megan?
Yeah, same as what Charlotte said. I think it really does depend on your course. So for me personally, when I was at college, my course was quite demanding, so I was used to doing long hours every single day. And that has changed a little bit, because I'm only actually in lectures and seminars and things for about 5 hours a week. And then the rest of that time you're expected to do independent study. So even though the hours are less, technically it's still the same, but I guess it does depend what you take.
That makes sense. Charlotte, were you worried about the academic writing and having to reference in assignments? And did you learn anything along the way that you could share with our viewers today?
Yeah, I was really nervous about that when going to uni, because I thought it would be really difficult and the jump would be huge. But as I've already said, it wasn't, and there was plenty of help. That actually was the module that I really struggled on. just because we do Harvard referencing, and I'd never done anything like that before. I do know that some colleges and sixth forms do use Harvard referencing already, but mine didn't. So when getting to uni, it was like a whole new minefield trying to get my head around it. And to be honest, I'm still trying to get my head around it now. I think it's one of those things that you go through university and you're just continually learning about, because everyone makes mistakes, and you've always got to ask people. Like, I'll ask the librarians in the library and they'll help me, or my tutors will go over it for me before I hand in to the Dropbox. So
again, that's really good advice, because I don't know about anyone else watching, but for me, joining university, prior to joining, I was so afraid to make mistakes, because I thought everyone's going to be perfect at university, and that if I made a mistake, everyone's going to think I'm really silly. So again, it's really comforting to know that it's okay to actually make mistakes. No one's expecting you to be perfect. So keeping with Charlotte then, is there anything you wish you did differently to prepare for your studies before coming to university?
Not really, no. I felt like I was very prepared. I made sure that I had a folder for each module I was doing, the same with like a notepad, different for each module. I really pushed myself. Like, I spent a lot of time in the library in first year and really like motivated myself to get into a routine of studying. So it's just got me into a routine in second year, and I'm just sailing through it really.
Brilliant. Is there anything you wish you did differently to prepare for your studies before coming to university, Megan?
Yeah, so in the summer before I started, my tutor sent me a really big reading list and then a supplies list as well. And I thought that we had to get everything on it. So I went ahead and bought every single book, every single art supply. And like, I'm in my final year now, and there's still supplies that I haven't touched. And the books, some of them haven't even been opened, they're just on my shelf. And like, it's nice to own them if you feel like you need them and you're really excited to read them. But I wouldn't say, I think those reading lists are more of a recommendation, and you can actually access most of the books for free through the library anyway. So yeah, I'm not saying don't buy them, but maybe like hold off a little bit and just maybe ask your tutors whether you need to get them just yet, and just wait.
I did exactly the same. I bought everything on my reading list, and you're right, it does cost a lot of money. So that actually brings us quite nicely onto the next topic, which is money. I know a lot of students watching might be quite worried about how they're going to manage their money at university. Did you learn anything along the way, Charlotte, that you could share with our students watching in terms of, budgeting or just managing your money in general?
Yeah, I would say hold off getting a job for the first few weeks of uni, because you really want to just embrace getting to know your friends, work all through summer so you have some money saved up, and then perhaps after Christmas I would recommend getting a part-time job, because not only does it teach you about money and how to look after your money, it also makes some structure into your day, which I think is especially important, as everything is online now, so you can kind of get yourself in a rut of not leaving the house for a few days and just concentrating on work. So going out to work, you're earning money, plus you'll make new friends and build more of a routine for yourself.
Thank you. And in terms of budgeting, have you learned anything on sort of budgeting whilst at university in terms of how you spend your money? And do you have any tips to share?
Yeah, I would say do your food shopping first. Make sure you've got your food in, and then sort out everything else, like for going out and stuff. I think just, whatever your budget is, just look at it through the week, do it week by week, and just see, like, I can spend that much on food, that much on going out, and just try and really stick to it, because the worst feeling in the world is worrying about your money. So just really try and stick to your budget, and make sure you've got enough food in the fridge.
Thank you there. So keeping on the idea of managing money and sort of balancing your social life then, Megan, did you learn anything along the way to sort of balance the two in terms of your social life and your money?
Yeah, so one of the really great things for me was that NTU has a bursary scheme. You don't even have to apply for it. Once you get your student loan, how much are you going to get from your student loan, you'll get a letter from NTU saying whether you're entitled to a bursary or not. It's usually if you've got a really low income. So they give you £750 for the year, and they divide it up so you don't spend it all at once. But that also means that you get discounts on the gym memberships. So a gym membership that would usually cost, I think it's like £170, only costs you £80. So you get the access to the gym and then all of the great classes that they do. And that was just a great way to sort of give myself a break from my studies as well.
Awesome. Yeah, so for the students watching today, do look out for those discounts or bursaries that you could be eligible for, and that will come through your research. But as Megan just said, the university might just tell you if you're, eligible for a bursary, which NTU does. But do your research to find out if you're eligible and how much you could be entitled to. So we are coming to the end of the webinar now, and sticking with Megan, is there anything you wish you'd known in your first year to make your experience better or more comfortable?
I really, really wish I'd have joined some societies. So I was a little bit overwhelmed by everything in first year, and I didn't really feel like I wanted to take on something else. But then I do feel like I missed out on the opportunity to sort of meet new people and try something new, because there's like hundreds of societies and they're all so different. And if you really want to try something that you've never tried before, that's the time to do it. I think as well, if there isn't a society that you like, you can make your own. So there's literally the opportunity to do everything. And also just throw yourself in the deep end. Sometimes the things that are the best are the things that scare you the most. So just go ahead and do it, and then it could be the best experience that you make.
Perfect. And finally, Charlotte, is there anything you wish you'd known before coming to university to make the experience better?
Yeah, I think along with what's just been said, just immerse yourself in the societies. I did join societies in the first year, but I really wish I'd joined more, and I wish I'd gone to more events.
Brilliant. So thank you both so much today for answering our questions. It's been really useful just to hear your insight and your experiences, which I'm sure students watching also feel the same. Over to the students now. If you do have any questions, as I said at the beginning, do post those in the question and answer box that's located at the top right of your screen, and we can answer those for you. Victoria, have there been any questions so far?
Yeah, we've had a few questions coming in. So somebody's asked, are there many quiet study areas? So I'll put that one to Charlotte. Are there any quiet study areas where you do your studying, be it in the library or in social spaces?
Yeah, there's actually loads across the campus. It's actually really good. You've got the library, which I think is 3 floors, plus you can get own individual rooms in that as well. You've got the garden on top of the library, which is really nice to go and study. If you've got some reading to do, that's quite nice to go read up there. You've also got the cafes on campus, which you're allowed to go sit in. And I do know that the SU let people study in there, and that's open till I think about 12 p.m. So what I really enjoyed doing in first year, it was like going to the gym, having a shower, and then late evening going and studying. I wouldn't recommend it for everyone studying at night, but that just seems to be the time that I'm most able to take information in. So I'd go and study down there because it's really quiet and you just get a lot of work done.
Awesome, thank you very much. And somebody's asked, I put this one to you, Megan, if that's all right. They said, how did you know that NTU is the right university for you?
It sounds really cliche, but I think once you know, you know. So I went round loads of different universities in the UK looking at the open days, and they were all top 10 in the country, so they were all really high up. And I was looking for an illustration course, and I just kept going to each one, and they just didn't feel right. And I was speaking to my mum and she was like, but why? And I was like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. And then I was at the point where I was going to defer for a year. And then on the off chance I came and looked at graphic design here, and I walked in the building and was like, yes, like I need to go here. This is where I want to go. And then, I think it's 5 choices you get. I actually only put Trent down on my choices because I was like, if I don't get into Trent, I'd rather take a year out or do an art foundation because I wanted to go that badly. So yeah, it's just a gut feeling, if that helps at all.
Yeah, that does help. I had a similar experience. I picked a degree solely based on the course and the modules and the prospectus, and my mum was like, "You're not going to go and look at this university and see what it's like?" I was like, "No, it looks like a great course." And then we got to this university and I was like, "Oh, I don't really like it here. It's really far away from the town centre." So yeah, sort of visiting universities and checking them out is a really good way to see what a university is like and if it's right for you. We've had one more question come through. I'll put this one to Charlotte if that's okay. So somebody's said that I'm worried that I'm not clever enough to go to university. Did you feel that you needed any extra help, and were you comfortable asking for help?
Yeah, I 100% felt like that. I had to redo my A-levels, take the year out and really try again, had to hire a tutor and everything. I definitely felt like, oh, I'm not clever enough, like everyone's gonna be like amazing at everything there, but really like they're not, and you just got to believe in yourself. Like, it sounds really cringy, but you really just got to believe in yourself, apply yourself, and if that's the best you can do, then you're going to do your best. So you just got to be happy with that.
Brilliant, thank you very much. That was the last question that we had, so I'll pass it back to Vanita to finish this off.
Perfect, thank you. And thank you all so much for your questions today. I hope you all got so much out of it. If you do have any further questions for our academics or for our students, you can find us on Unibuddy. So if you just type into Google, chat to us, NTU, you know, our profiles are on there, so you can find us and chat to us and ask your questions. So again, I hope you found this useful. We're going to end the session there, but thank you again for your attention, and thank you to our students for asking and answering our questions today. So thank you so much.